5. If you see me on the SuperTalk.fm stream scratching my face, my cat was just rubbing up all over me, so I have cat hair all over my face now that is itchy, so I apologize for that. And look, we've spent the last hour on serious topics talking about Israel and Iran and that conflict. Will lighten the mood a little bit this hour. My longtime friend, Robert St. John from New South Restaurant Group is joining me. Robert, it's so great to see you, my friend.
Hey, Scott, how you, buddy?
Good. You know, it's funny. I was first asked to sit in on SuperTalk Mississippi, I don't know, months ago in February or March, and you were the first person I wanted to have on, and it's taken us this long because of your travel schedule to work this out.
Well, it's good to be with you, buddy.
You know, I spent many a night at Crescent City Grill and the Mahogany Bar. Back in the 90s when I lived in Hattiesburg, you could smoke inside still. So there's probably still some cigar smoke stains from the hog bar from me coming in at night.
You know, and it's hard to remember what it was like. I was totally against that law when it came out about, you know, no smoking in public places when all that came out. 'Cause I just didn't want anybody telling, you know, business what to do and what they couldn't do. But now that it is, I'll go in a casino on the coast or something, and I've got, God, we used to have this in our business. It was crazy. In restaurants like the Purple Parrot, it was, we had like the smoking section and the non-smoking section were like next to each other. You had like table 3 with no smoking,
with no divider,
and table 4 was non-smoking. Dude, I think I've been just talking loud. I thought that was your background music was playing, and it actually was my Spotify. So I've been trying to talk over that. I thought it was intro music coming in. So if I yelled for the first 2 minutes of this interview, I'm sorry. Finally, I was like, are they not going to cut that bed down, man? That's a long intro song I'm having to talk over. And then I look at my Spotify and I just cut it off. So
I just thought
sorry if I was yelling
to
at
be
you.
On.
Well, I am very excited to be on, but so what I was saying, you used to have smoking section and non-smoking section, like at tables next to each other. And I was a smoker for like 19 years, but now, golly, I can't take it. But
well, last time I was in Hattiesburg, I did enjoy the patio at the Hog to have a cigar and a drink there a few years ago. I've got to get back, man. The best food anywhere. We were joking when Hattiesburg was hosting the regionals in the College World Series. Fans from Alabama, and you know I'm a Crimson Tide fan, were saying I feel sorry for the people who have to go to Hattiesburg. I was like, no, just go to Crescent City Grill, go to the Hog, go to the Midtowner, and you'll get plenty of good food.
Thank you for that, Scott. You know, when Tennessee came, there was a big brouhaha because somebody in Tennessee posted, we're having to go to Hattiesburg for the regionals, and they don't even have an Applebee's. And I was like, yeah, but we kind of wear that as a badge of honor. That's, you know, the fact that we have no Applebee's anymore is like a good thing, guys. We got a lot of good independent restaurants here, and it's a good thing, man. We miss you around here, Scott. You got to come back and see us sometime soon.
I miss you guys too. So how many restaurants do you own now? And I'm very excited for the one you're building in Gulfport in the old Triplet Day building.
Yeah, we're fired up about Gulfport. We got a couple other things coming down that way. We have 5 restaurants and 2 bars currently. We have Crescent City Grill, which is kind of the mothership. It's been open since 87. And we've got Mahogany Bar, and then we have the Maple Bar, which you haven't seen yet. It's killer. It's a great cocktail bar, some cool spaces. We built a really nice outdoor patio area. So that building it was built as a dress shop in 1975, and it was about 7,500 square feet when I took it over in 87 and changed it into a restaurant. We're 15,000 square feet now. It's doubled. It's grown really big. Next door, we have Ed's Burger Joint, which is kind of our growth vehicle. We're about to do 3 or 4 of those in the next 5 years. One on the coast. We have a place called the Midtowner, which is breakfast and lunch. I just left there and rushed over here to be with you. I love breakfast. I'm a breakfast guy, so I never miss that. And that's actually what we're doing in Gulfport in the old Triplet Day building. Is we're doing it's called the Downtowner, and it's right there in the middle of downtown, across from Hancock, Whitney, and we're really fired up about that. And then we've got a couple of locations for an Ed's Burger joint down there. We have a bakery that really just back in December, New York Times named one of the top 22 bakeries in the country, called Loblolly Bakery, named after the local pine tree here. We have an Italian restaurant called Tabella, and that's it for now, but you never know.
For now. So, Robert, how has the restaurant industry changed in the 4 decades that you've been in business? I think the last time you and I talked in a formal setting on the radio, we talked during the pandemic, which certainly hit the restaurant industry so hard. Has the industry been able to recover from COVID? What changes have you seen in the last few years?
Yeah, I know we have, and we're today in 2025, and we've been open 37 years. I've been in the industry for 44 years. Like when I first got into the industry, to back up to the first part of your question, I first got into the industry and I went to USM and studied hospitality management. And I can remember them saying in class, computers are going to be a big part of the restaurant industry one day. I mean, that's how old I am. And, there were no computers or anything. And, I was a waiter, and we were writing, handwritten checks and sticking them up in the past there. And so, obviously we've come a long way point of sale wise, but a couple of questions. So technology is making a huge difference. So AI has become a big part of the agency. So with predicting, business and predicting, labor schedules and things like that we can do that you just couldn't do before. Not to mention just the point of sale systems. And with my phone, I can have, I can look at my sales numbers by the minute and product sales. And so, I spend about 4 months a year working overseas, but I am in total contact at all time. Of course, there's a 7-hour difference in time, and so I have to take that into account. But otherwise, I'm in total touch. There's Zoom calls with the leadership team. All of that stuff is possible now, and we're heavy into AI, and on all fronts. And I use that to problem solve a lot. I don't remember the last time I Googled something. I just go to ChatGPT, and
well.
The
industry operates on such a unique model where the seating capacity is dictating your budgets and how much food you order, your operational costs. There's a lot to take into consideration.
Yeah, it's we're blessed to have pretty steady business, and so that's nice. And I've got today. So back to the COVID part of your question, the word existential is so overused today. Everything all of a sudden is an existential crisis, blah, blah, blah. That was an existential crisis for the restaurant trade. And I was having conversations with my family and my kids that, not sure what's going to happen here, March of 2020. We may have to sell the house, whatever. We'll move into an apartment, all 4 of us, and we're going to do what we can to keep this restaurant open and to keep, I got 450 people that depend on the decisions I make and everything. And everybody came together, and we worked hard. I was able to keep absolutely everybody on our team. We didn't lose anybody. We barely shut down. The Midtowner was the only one we had to shut down for any length of time. But when we reopened, everybody was back. I got very involved, and I think you and I spoke about it at the time, with a group called the Independent Restaurant Coalition.
Independent Restaurant. Mm-hmm.
And on March 20th, I got a call, and we can talk about it after the break if you want, because it's a long story, but it's a great story. So
Yeah, well, we'll do that, and I want to get your feedback on some other things affecting the industry, like the proposal for no tax on tips, how that may affect your workers, your crew, the seafood labeling legislation that's going into effect, and more. Robert St. John, New South Restaurant Group, author, chef, my favorite guy in Hattiesburg, continues next. Super Talk Mississippi. Scott Sands in for Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi with my longtime friend Robert St. John joining me. Robert, before the break, you were telling us about the Independent Restaurant Coalition, and that was the last time you and I had a conversation during COVID, as it was affecting everybody across the country.
Yeah, so it was a really cool thing. On March 18th, 18 restaurateurs from across the country, New York, some big-time folks you would know, Tom Colicchio and Will Guidera, and a lot of names you would know in the industry, got together just on a hunch. What can we do? This thing's coming up. Well, on the 19th, the next day, I was like the 19th person on the call, and we formed what became the Independent Restaurant Coalition, and we just met twice a day on Zoom for every day, 7 days a week for the first 4 or 5 months. And then it was every day, once a day for the next several months. And we started, getting together with Congress and everything, trying to help. The National Restaurant Association was doing things for the big chains, the McDonald's of the world and all these guys, but there was nobody looking after the number two, like Scott, number one employer in all of America's government, unfortunately. Number two is healthcare. Number three is hospitality. So you've got this major workforce that, we were getting shut down and stuff. So we fought and got through Congress. I think it was about within 11 months, we had gotten like $28.6 billion to go directly to independent restaurants and keep them open. And we ended up keeping a bunch of them open. And that's the last time you and I talked, we were in the middle of that. So what COVID did for us, once it was a rough time to go through for about 2 years just with the hiring. We were being here in Hattiesburg, in this college town, we have always been blessed with hiring A+ candidates. We, with great USM students, and and during that about a 2-year period up till about 2022, we were just hiring warm bodies, anybody that could come in. And I have to be honest, we weren't very equipped to manage. It's easy to manage A+ candidates. It's a whole different mindset and management style to manage warm bodies. And we just weren't good at it. And it took us a couple of years to get back on our feet. And today we are, we're hitting on all 12 cylinders now. So we've got a great leadership team.
So
we're the best we've ever been.
Your leadership team is, I know your leadership team has very low turnover, which is amazing in the industry. But will something like the proposal for no tax on tips help you retain great talent? Will that be an incentive to join the hospitality industry?
Yeah, I think so. We're an entry level, and a lot of people's first jobs are in restaurants. We've been blessed. I have a lady has been with me since day one, 1987. And the average tenure of our lunch crew is probably 12, 15 years. And so, I've always had the philosophy, you just take care of the people who take care of you. So front of the house people, no tax on tips is huge. That's certainly a big thing. And I hope that, you're hearing rumors now that maybe they're going to pull that out. The Senate's going to pull that out. And I hope they don't, because tipped employees all over, a lot of people don't understand servers make $2.13 an hour. And so they depend on those tips. A lot of places in New York, Danny Meyer, who's probably the best restaurateur in the country, several years ago went into a plan where no tips, and they paid everybody more and spread it all out, and that lasted about 2 years, and they got rid of it. So tipping is,
I think it's something that needs to be The city needs to figure out a way to keep that in the bill. I think that's good for the economy. It's good for the people who are in the tipped industry.
That was part of that was part of the president's platform. I mean, that was a big deal in the campaign.
In a couple of weeks, the Mississippi seafood labeling bill will go into effect. I think this is great for locally owned restaurants in the state that rely so much on seafood as part of their menu, as many of your restaurants do. I think there should be this transparency. And you're in Mississippi. You're right there at the Gulf. If you're going to have crawfish, if you're going to have shrimp, if you're going to have oysters, it should be from local fishers, from the fishing industry in the state. And that should be a highlight of the restaurant menu.
Yeah. Seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? But we've been priding ourselves from day one, 1987. All our fish is Gulf fish, locally caught. We're in Hattiesburg. We're 70 miles north of some. I've eaten seafood all over the world. Literally, I've been all over the world eating seafood, and there's none better than what comes out of the Gulf. And our fish species, mainly because, we complain a lot about our water isn't as blue and clear because you've got so much of the Mississippi River dumping out in the area we are. And if you look at that map it's rivers from Pennsylvania to Montana up in Canada all come out right there past New Orleans and out into the Gulf. But what that also does, it makes those waters, rich in different things that redfish love and crabs love. And so, we're blessed to have all of that. We use Mississippi shrimp, we use crab meat, we use oysters, we use fish, all from the Gulf. And for us, that's a bragging point. I mean, we're like, why not? It's not as easy to do the local thing in South Mississippi because we have a tight season for farming. Blueberries are coming in now, blackberries are coming in now, peaches are coming in now, but by mid-July, that's it for the local. Corn will be coming in. Strawberries are in March. But other than that, seafood is the local thing we can do all year round and be kind of farm to table, but it's really Gulf to table.
And there's such a great food culture in the state that should be celebrated more. I miss all of the food from Crescent City Grill, obviously, but I could try to cook some of your recipes from your cookbooks, but it's just not going to come out the same. And I saw you yesterday, you've got a Christmas cookbook coming out that you've wanted to do for a long time.
Long time, yeah. It'll be number 15, and I'm really fired up about it. I had a 3-book deal with a New York publisher back in, I think it was 2004 or 5 when I signed that deal. And the one I wanted to do right off was a Christmas cookbook. And in this group, I'm sitting there on the Upper West Side in Manhattan, and they said, well, we don't do Christmas. It'd need to be a holiday book. And I was like, no, I'm not going to, because we do Christmas. And so we just got kind of a brouhaha, and I moved on and just made a mental note. One of these days, I'm going to do the two I really, really wanted to do was a breakfast cookbook and a Christmas cookbook. And my cookbook that came out 2 years ago, my last one was something called Mississippi Mornings. And I got to do a breakfast book. And so this one is a Mississippi Christmas. And it's a couple of years in the making. I'm really fired up about it. It'll come out in November. And it's probably, I think it's the best one I've done yet. I'm really proud of it. Kate Dearman, who her mother and I grew up together here in Hattiesburg, and she's a photographer. She's out of Nashville these days and just does excellent work. She did all the photography for Mississippi Mornings, and then we shot this book around Christmas time, and it's phenomenal. My production partner, Anthony Thaxton, he and I co-founded the Institute for Southern Storytelling up at Mississippi College. He's the book designer, and I've got my sous chef, Linda Roderick, helped me with the recipes. So it's a group effort. I get credit where credit's due there.
I can't wait to see that. And you've been so successful. I can't wait to get back down to the state and enjoy some crawfish and some good food at Crescent City Grill. And try out one of the new restaurants, too, the burgers at Ed's.
You got to come see us, buddy. I look forward to seeing you.
Robert St. John, it's great to catch up with you, my friend.
You too, Scott. Take care, buddy.
C-Spire text line open at 601-879-4395. You can find me on X at Scott Sands Media. Michelle Polino will join us from Hollywood. We've got some stories to cover there, including some big-name trials that maybe you've heard a little bit about. The Diddy trial is ongoing, the Karen Reed trial, and more coming up next with Michelle Polino here on Super Talk Mississippi.